Red Polly,
Dusty,
blue poncho,
Tupac,
street,
hey, Wilson Hoosier, hey, Elvis,
Blue 58, go!
All right, everyone. Welcome to episode 19, week 18, Health Matters. Well, that's a wrap on the regular season. A lot of drama through the weekend in terms of who's in, who's out. But I'll tell you what, nothing's more important than health going into the playoffs. We saw it week 16, 17, 18. We're going to see it even more in the playoffs. Now let's figure out where we're going with these teams, who's banged up, who's not, what does rest mean, what does a one-bye team mean now with these 7 teams per side. Tyler, take it away.
Yeah, Doc. Well, after everything's settled out, it looks like the Steelers are going to face the Bills here in round 1 in the wild card round. But they're going to be without star pass rusher TJ Watt, who suffered a grade 2 MCL. Looks like possibly even 2 weeks with this injury. What are you thinking with this?
Yeah, it's really too bad for TJ Watt with an unfortunate injury. The MCL is something that can heal well, but just needs time. The MCL is the medial collateral ligament. Ligament meaning it attaches bone to bone, femur to tibia. And you can see in this model, it's a very thick structure. And there's a lot of redundancy there. It's one of the most commonly injured structures in all of football. And the good news is they heal pretty well, but the problem is it needs time. And based on grade and severity, we've got it pretty dialed in the NFL and with our NFL docs and medical staff, athletic trainers, therapists in terms of how long it takes to come back. He's got a grade 2. Really, that's about a 3 to 4 week injury. So I think it's a minimum 2, as they're saying just recently from the team. But maybe we'll see him week 3, week 4 after this injury. But Pittsburgh's going to have to make a deep run to let him heal this MCL.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're playing the Bills. They're pretty banged up. We'll get on that a little later. But Tyler, welcome to the building. We got you in the house today. That's nice to see.
Great to be here.
The Eagles, another team we're worried about. They're injured pretty bad. Tell us about those guys.
Yeah, as the playoffs loom, the Eagles look like they'll be facing the Buccaneers Monday night. And one of the biggest injuries that they have coming up is Jalen Hurts, who dislocated his middle finger PIP joint. Now, he did come back to the game, but threw an interception and then was immediately taken out. So, Doc, throwing hand, dislocated finger, is he going to be ready to go?
Yeah, this is the finger here. I mean, he came back in the same game. The beautiful thing is, this is something that's extremely satisfying if you're on the sideline and this happens, is you can pop this right back in. The key is it's got to be stable, meaning no fracture of these 2 bones. And these 2 bones are very small and sometimes need tiny screws, tiny pins to stabilize a joint. But if the joint's unstable, that joint will keep dislocating. He's going to be sore because when you dislocate, you injure a very thick capsule called the volar plate. And that very thick capsule helps hold our finger in place, and it's right there. So he's going to be sore for a few weeks, but something that as long as he doesn't have a fracture and it's stable on exam, he should be back and do quite well.
Yeah, his biggest target, though, A.J. Brown, Eagles wide receiver, he went out with a knee injury. He's going to be getting an MRI today, so
yeah,
that could be bad. They say it's not that bad, but we have to see.
Yeah, crazy for the Eagles. They don't even have a great performance, and then they get a couple key players banged up. That is not boding well for the playoffs. Again, they're a pretty banged up team heading into this run.
Yeah, Eagles safety Sidney Brown. He's been a standout rookie. He just had a 99-yard pick 6 last week. He unfortunately had pretty serious injury. He ended up tearing his ACL, and this is tough for the number 5 seed in the NFC. In the Eagles. Doc, this late in the season, what does this really mean for next year? Is he coming back next season, and when, if he does?
Yeah, so the ACL is, again, a ligament. It joins the femur to the tibia, anterior cruciate ligament. Cruciate meaning cross, and you can see it's right in here. It's one of the most commonly injured inside ligaments of the knee. The good news is it's about a 9-month recovery for someone like him in his position, a very skilled position. We see these 8, 9, 10 months, just depending on how the recovery is. He's going to want to get going right away, but I anticipate him starting on PUP at the beginning of the season, not a camp participant, but then slowly getting into it by week 4, 5, 6.
Now, the Dolphins had a tough loss last night. However, they also lost linebackers Cameron Good and Andrew Van Ginkel to knee and foot injuries in that second half. Now, this is going to be tough. They have a strong, high-powered offense, but they're really going to need a strong defense to make it through and make a long run into these playoffs.
Yeah, that's tough for those guys, missing 2 linebackers.
Yeah, again, the Dolphins, they're trying to beat an over 500 team, and health matters really much for these guys, big time. What do you think about that, Tyler? The Dolphins, they haven't shown up in big games. They've continued to get banged up. What does this look like going into the playoffs for them?
Yeah, they have a pretty good record, but when you look at the teams they've beaten, like you said, they really haven't showed up against some other teams that have really good records. It's all these, teams that aren't in the playoffs anymore that they've beaten. So people are a little down on the Dolphins. I'm not sure they're going to make it very far. We'll have to see how they do.
They're playing the Chiefs, so that's going to be a tough run. I don't know. The Chiefs are pretty healthy right now. So
in Kansas City, look at how that shake it up last night, just with that Bills Miami situation, and then obviously the Jacksonville loss, which changed everything up in the AFC. It was kind of a crazy day, one like we usually don't see on Week 18.
Yeah, the injury I circled for this week was Lions tight end Sam LaPorta. Hyperextended his knee, has a bone bruise. They're saying he's going to miss some time. They got a big matchup against the Rams. Will he be there?
Yeah, so his mechanism was one where, at least we were initially concerned about the lateral side, the lateral capsule, which is the outside part of your knee. So you got the MCL, Watt's issue where he injured the MCL. But now you got the LCL where Sam LaPorta really took quite a bit of an injury. And so what happens is you get a counter coup injury, you stretch the LCL, and guess what? You get a bone bruise on the inner side here. It's really the only thing that can cause a bone bruise on the inner side of the knee is injury to this lateral complex and this force here. What goes with that? Capsular injury potential, meniscus issue. And then we also want to make sure the ACL is okay. Now, the good news is team has come out and said it's not the worst news, but it's not great news. So probably think the ACL is at least okay on the initial MRI, but exam MRI and see how he does. But hopefully Sam will be back pretty soon. I expect it's at least a couple weeks and may not even be back this season.
Yeah, hopefully he can get back out on the field. The Lions are going to need him for this playoff push, especially since they also lost receiver Khalif Raymond to a knee injury. He came down hard on that knee getting tackled, and he was not able to return to that game. So it's going to be tough for these Lions coming through these playoffs.
What do we know in our data at the Predictors? Again, the predictors.com shows again and again and again those teams that are healthy going into the playoffs. Why is that? Because the teams that really deserve to be there are there, starting in January and heading into February every season. But those that stay healthy, week 16, 17, 18, in the first part of the playoffs, they're the ones going to the Super Bowl. And you can see the Lions. I'm extremely concerned about them, guys. I don't know. What about you, Tyler? Brandon?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun matchup, Stafford versus Goff. So the media is going to be there, but I think LaPorta makes the difference. He was a big piece for those guys. Tyler, you tell me. You've been in the fantasy game.
Yeah, the Rams have been playing well. They've kind of trended upwards here at the right time. They have some great players, some great wide receivers. Puka, obviously, he set the rookie record here for yards, and it's going to be tough. That Stafford's going to want to come in there and win, and Goff's going to want to do the same. So it's going to be I think that's going to be one of the most fun games to watch.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That's the game I'm most excited for. It's going to be a great game to watch, great TV. Everyone's got to tune into that one.
Yeah, the game I got on upset alert, though, the Bills Steelers. Tell us about the Bills injuries, man. They got beat up.
Yeah, well, Bills wide receiver Gabe Davis is out with a knee injury. We'll see how this progresses and if he's able to go. But the big thing with this is obviously the Bills have Stephon Diggs. They have some great wide receivers there, but this could change the whole defensive scheme. If they don't have to guard Gabe Davis, maybe they double, put someone over the top of Stephon Diggs, try to lock him down. So this could change the way that Steelers defense plays, especially missing someone like TJ Watt in that pass rush.
Yeah. They also got more banged up too. They basically limped into the divisional championship, right? As divisional champs. But they literally limped. They got a ton of injuries. They're banged up score. We'll have it calculated here for you probably in the next 24 to 36 hours. Check it out at thepredictors.com because the Bills are banged up. The Lions are banged up. You got a couple other teams limping into the playoffs here, and it's going to matter.
And to wrap it up, we got our concussion protocol of the week 18. All we had was Buffalo Bills running back Ty Johnson enter the concussion protocol this week.
Yeah, so he'll be somebody we watch out for and see if he can get back for the playoff game. They're going to need him, losing one of their other offensive guys in Gabe Davis.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he can get back within 1 week. It's really hard. And again, our data shows that if you enter concussion protocol, it's really hard to get back within that same week. So you get injured Sunday night, getting back for the next weekend game, pretty low chance.
Yeah, let's keep rolling with the playoff preview on the guy. Tell us what you think. I'm calling the upset for the Steelers. I mean, they came out of their game, besides TJ Watt, fairly healthy. So I think, with the Bills being beat up, unless they can get healthy in a week, it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one. Bills have also, like the Rams, been kind of trending upwards at the right time, but it was the wrong time to have all these injuries come to light here and come up. So we'll see how they do. It's going to be a fun game to watch, hopefully.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. And going into week 18 for the bus score, the Bills had a 73.0 bus score, while the Steelers had 76.9. So, I mean, going into the week, they were pretty even, fairly even. But going into this first week of the playoffs, these teams got banged up. The Bills, I think, are going to take a pretty big drop on this next week's bus score.
No question there, Boston Ryan. He's he's got those numbers are going to be going. They're going to be plummeting, both for Bills, both for Steelers, probably more for Bills. But again, check the predictors.com. We'll have those numbers out for you real soon because it's going to help impact your betting strategy.
All right, guys, another playoff preview game I got circled. The Eagles versus the Bucks. The Eagles are beat up. They're in a slump. The Bucks limped in with a 9-8 record in a pathetic game yesterday, 9-0 against the lowly Panthers.
Brutal. Oh, my gosh.
What do we think on this one? Can the Eagles' health really prevail?
This is a tough one. This could be my upset alert. I could see the Bucks somehow pulling this one out if Baker Mayfield can come through and, find that pay dirt with his team there. Now, he did get that $1 million bonus for getting the team into the playoffs. That's huge. So he's flying high right now, while the Eagles, they're definitely, like you said, they're in that big slump. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they can pop out of it right now.
Yeah, and you're already got heading into week 18, bus score for the Bucks 83, Eagles 77. 6-point difference. That's a pretty big difference in our bus score. Again, the banged up score. So that Bucks score actually going to be pretty good. Maybe get a little bit better. But the Eagles, guess what? They're going down just like the Bills. It's going to be an issue.
I think the Bucks only had one little minor injury. It wasn't very big, so they're going to stay pretty healthy going into it. So that's going to be a fun one. The Eagles need to wake up and get ready to play for sure. All right, the last one we want to talk about, the Browns versus the Texans. That's going to be who's the quarterback, right? I mean, we had another quarterback for the Browns this week, Jeff Driscoll. Why did they sit Flacco? What are you thinking?
I have no idea. Flacco, I mean, probably to rest him, make sure he's ready for the playoffs. That would be the most easy answer, I think. But
I mean, he's getting up there in age, so I mean, he needs his veteran rest.
What about the continuity? I mean, he's been only playing a couple weeks with those guys. You would want to keep him in there, right?
Yeah, veteran rest, man. I don't know.
That's true, but he's been playing well. And the Texans, obviously, they're missing Tank Dell. CJ Stroud has, for his rookie year, I mean, he's turned that whole organization around. So they're high and mighty right now, but you can't count out Flacco. He knows how to win. He's been there. He's been in the playoffs. He's led his team. He's won a Super Bowl. So he knows it. He gets it.
It's going to be an interesting run with the Browns. I mean, they had 19 quarterbacks this year. They're going to make it all the way to the playoffs.
Crazy that they even made it there.
Yeah, who knows, man? That's going to be a fun one.
I'd like to see the quarterback playbooks and the color codings and the Browns. Yeah. The Browns
it's going to be
coaching.
like a Madden playbook. Go streaks. It's going to be fun. All right, an interesting thing, it's Black Monday in the NFL, the firings and the changes. The coaching carousel began. We got Arthur Smith fired last night. Ron Rivera with the Commanders fired this morning as expected. Raiders, Chargers, and Panthers jobs all open. Which job would you guys want?
I'll tell you, I'd want the Raiders job. I think that one, you are in a great city, a city that loves sports. They really, when the Golden Knights went there in hockey, they really showed up. Everyone loves them. Now they have the Raiders there. It's everyone knows the Raiders fan mentality. It's a great place for them to be. It's a good organization around. I think they have some good talent there that they can build on. So I think it's actually a good place to start your coaching career or build upon it. So if I were looking at all of those, I don't mind the Raiders to go there. You have some good weapons on offense. I mean,
yeah,
Absolutely.
just they've had a lot of off the field issues though as well. So that Las Vegas temptation
place to live.
is
Hard
a
place to
little
live when you
tough.
have
So
money.
you're always gonna have those issues in the background. So that's something you got to put up with.
And
Yeah.
also the Antonio Pierce, he had an amazing season once he stepped in as the head coaching role. I mean, the signs are pointing towards him possibly getting this head coaching position.
Yeah,
Devontae Adams said he's got his vote.
Yeah,
Last
there you
time they didn't keep the players guy, so this time they may.
Yeah,
We'll
maybe
just
keep
have
the
to
players
see,
guy.
learn from
We'll
it.
see what we'll see what Mark does. I mean, I don't know about you, Boston Ryan, but the only thing I'm just focused on is reviewing the the Jets Patriots game and the whole Bill Belichick thing. I mean, you gotta love Bill's media presence at the end of the day. And so, Bill, what's going to happen next year? This and that. I'm only focused on what's going on with the game today. Just disappointed.
I'll be here tomorrow. Yeah. So,
Just always preparing for next season.
Ryan.
I mean, who knows if he'll be here?
Yeah.
I think the Patriots might need a little bit of a change in that locker room, and it might be time. He's been 20-something years. I mean,
Boston
what are you gonna
Ryan,
do?
yeah, Boston Ryan, you're going out on a limb here.
I don't know.
You
He
think
had
Bill's
I don't
gone?
he picked
I
a
don't
different.
know.
Is he going to go to the Falcons? That's who you picked as your favorite job. What do you think?
I don't know. Yeah, the Falcons job seems pretty cool. I mean, Atlanta seems like a cool city. You got these young guys. You got Bijan Robinson. You got Kyle Pitts, who's been completely mishandled his entire career. They got young talent. They got the 8th overall pick in the draft, the 3rd consecutive year of having that pick. I mean, they could get a quarterback. That's their biggest need. I feel like they're really missing out on a quarterback.
They
so
need a quarterback really
Who do you
really
take at
bad.
8 though?
That's tough.
Who's going to be there? Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels.
That's tough. Or you got to make a trade with your 8th pick to get a veteran.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I mean, let's face it. Bill is an Annapolis, Maryland guy. I see him going down to the Commanders if that's on the table. And we'll see what Robert Kraft and he and Jonathan talk about this week. But I expect it's going to be a very respectful parting of ways. But we'll see how things unfold this week in Foxborough. But he grew up in Annapolis, played lacrosse there. He's in Maryland. I think it'd be an interesting full circle for him all the way back to to his roots in Washington D.C., Annapolis area. So we'll see.
You heard it here first, guys.
The other job, here, Boston Ryan, that you asked about is the Chargers. That's a super interesting job. And, the Chargers have so much talent and they've got a great setup. They've retooled their whole practice facility and, a game situation, splitting the stadium, obviously with the Rams. They've got a great opportunity there for someone to really come in and take that team to the next level.
That's a great place to work on Justin Herbert and bring him up to his full potential because he hasn't gotten that, in his career, I don't think.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've wasted so much talent. That's going to be a big name hire, I think. It's not going to be an up-and-coming coordinator.
Yeah, a lot of frustration there. I mean, you can see it on the sidelines even after like week 5 or 6. I mean, they're super frustrated. These games they should be winning, they lose by a last-second field goal, lose by a last-second fumble. I mean, all these things going on that just should not happen in professional football.
Well, I tell you, living out in San Diego now, the fan base they're ready for something new. They're over it. You see it everywhere. Obviously, they're in LA now, but a bunch of their fan base is still in San Diego.
San Diego Chargers, man. I was there for 18 years.
They want to change.
We love the Chargers, I'll tell you.
Well, guys, wild card week. Any final thoughts going into wild card week? Give me something, Tyler. Give me a pearl.
Man, I tell you what, I am excited. I think the game of the week is this Lions game. I'm really excited to see how they can do this Lions-Rams game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch some of these rookies in their first playoffs, see how they do. So that's the game of the week for me.
Yeah, Boston Ryan, are you even going to watch this week with your team being out?
He's done with football.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, Patriots are out, so football season's over.
Bruins for you. Let's
come
go.
on. Bruins just had a 7-3 dub the other night, so it's full-on hockey season for me now.
Yeah, that's good. I'll tell you what, that Browns-Texans game, super interesting. As wild card weekend is particularly wild. So health matters. Everyone, thanks for joining us. We wrap up the regular season. We'll be back next week, and we're going to break it down even further with our bus scores, player performance scores. Keep following us at predictors.com. Have a great week.